Next to me, Svenja de Vos. Big round of applause, please. If we are talking about management talents in the top of Holland, 2016, 2017, this is her, management talent, yeah, it's very good. You went from telecom to web hosting. How was it for you?
From telecom to cloud computing, yeah. It was a big step, I would say, but it was a good step. It's much more technically advanced and a completely different company culture. So yeah, I like it a lot.
Okay, thank you. The floor is yours. Success.
Thank you. Well, with that introduction, I'm not really sure how to introduce myself anymore. But my name is Svenja de Vos. I'm the CTO of LeaseWeb, a global cloud computing company. We build the cloud. I work here in the Netherlands, which is our headquarters, and we're in 5 countries, so the US, Germany, Netherlands, Singapore, and London. So, what I'm going to tell you about today, let's see. New buzzwords. Yeah, I don't know how it works with you guys, but everything says, we're not great, we're amazing, and we don't do Agile, everybody does DevOps nowadays. And even worse, nobody does change management anymore. We do transformation management. Confession to be told, I've got about 1,800 friends on LinkedIn, and approximately 20% of those do something with transformation management. I'm not sure if that says something about me, or if that says something about the trend that it's out there. I want to talk about that one, because I kind of get annoyed by buzzwords. You know, it's kind of like the management BS bingo that's going around. And that's what I want to talk about today. So, let's see. Is change management something we stopped? And do we need to do all transformation management? And is Agile something we have all accepted already and now is everybody into DevOps? What's the deal there? In my opinion, it's all of the above. I think most companies really need to do transformation management and not just change management. So what's the difference then? I think that change management is changing what's existing and transformation management is creating a future. But let's start with a little bit more of the topic of today, and that's Agile and DevOps. And honestly, everybody nowadays does Agile. If you're still doubting if Agile is the way to go for your company, come and see me afterwards, I'm going to convince you. Because I think that's a no-brainer. If you're not in an Agile world yet, well, welcome to Kodak, I would say. So, what are we going to talk about now? I would say DevOps. I have a confession to make. I was really against DevOps. I think there's a movie somewhere on YouTube of the first Scrum Day Europe, where I'm actually next to cursing on stage, also explaining that DevOps might not be the smartest way to go. I mean, I was working at a telecom company where we had a very large operations department, infrastructure, billing departments, application management, and about 400 developers in all kinds of different locations. So for me, DevOps was getting operations working together with developers. Yeah, and that's as far as I wanted to go. I mean, segregation of duties. You know, I mean, there's always an audit report that says that, you know, one person needs to do this and the other person needs to do that. And let's face it, operational people and development people are a different kind of breed. Well, fast forward, what is it, 7, 8 years now? And I was wrong. I'm working now at a company called LeaseWeb, where we actually do DevOps. And I have to say, it really works. Looking at how the teams interact, I mean, really together, I'm impressed. But it comes with a cost. They've changed a couple of years ago, and I have to say, we're here a couple of years later, and I don't think we're there yet. And they lost a couple of people, because it takes a certain person in order to DevOps. And I don't think it's there for everybody. So I really believe in DevOps, but maybe it's a generation thing, I don't know. The much younger people get easier adapted. If I see how that works nowadays, I'm quite impressed. But, yeah, the question is, would you do it? Why would you do DevOps? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of experts out there today. You've heard probably a lot. You're going to hear one in about 25 minutes, who can explain to you why you should do that. For me, I'm convinced in order to do it. Why? I think everybody has his own reasons. So, the question is DevOps really transformational? I don't think so. I mean, implementing DevOps is a tricky thing to do. I mean, everybody talks about it as, well, you put developers and operations people in one team and then it works. Yeah, not really. So don't underestimate it. I think we're 3 years after the implementation started. Many things to improve still. I hope you didn't expect a hooray story from me, but I'm very skeptical. And I think there's a lot of things to improve all the time. I mean, it's not rocket science, although I got this pretty picture. It's not that difficult. But improving the teams, etc., I mean, it's not like we're bringing a person to the moon, although sometimes I think that would have been easier. It's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And when you're in trouble, get help. I think there's a lot of experts out there. Also a lot of people who say on their LinkedIn they're Agile and DevOps coaches, be careful. But there's a lot of people who actually know what they're doing. So get some help. The next buzzword, I mean, transformation management. To be honest, that was my job title for a while as well. Director of Transformation. How cool is that? Actually, transformation for me is deferred maintenance. In other words, how do you say this in Dutch? Achterstallig onderhoud, we say in Dutch. If you need to do a transformation in your organization, you've done 2 things wrong. 1, you have not gotten the right systems and you have not been staying up to date. And 2, your people are not up to date. Because generally transformation management means 2 things: getting new systems in and reorganizing. And we can call it whatever we want, but that's what it is. If we take a look at change management, which in my opinion is what most companies do, you know, getting their current system landscape, changing a couple of things left and right, and then saying, hey, we have some new products, or there's some things we do, we create agile teams, we work a little bit more agile. Change management, not transformation management. Not now, not ever. Many companies can give you advice on which best of breed or which software to build, or do you need to do it yourself, etc. I mean, there's big logos on every, well, past every highway you can see some big logos of companies that can help you with that. The part they cannot help you with is actually the next part. It's a people business. And we were talking a lot about, okay, which methodology to implement, if it's going to be DevOps, which system to be implementing, if it's going to be large ERP systems, new CRM systems, we've all done that. But it's a people business. So imagine, you know, taking a look at change management, we're going to change something really simple. Just think with me for a second. So imagine there's a new laptop brand out there. I don't know, DevOn Summit laptops. I don't know, think of a name. Sorry, I'm not in marketing, so. DevOn Summit. And it has, well, 25% better specs than your current Mac or your current Lenovo or whatever. And I'm explaining to you that tomorrow you need to hand in your Mac. And you're going to get this beautiful computer. Much better than what you've ever had today. But you don't know what it does and you've never heard of it. I think I'm going to put some boxing gloves on and some extra cushions because you're going to kill me. Because you're very attached to your little computer every day. Now try to extrapolate that to CRM systems or new ERP systems. All hell will break loose. I mean, change management is difficult, but transformations are horror. Really horror. So what you need to do is get these people on board. In order to do change management, or transformation management in my opinion, you need to do a couple of things. Be clear about the changes ahead. There's a lot of companies in this world who are doing restructuring of their people, they're doing new systems, etc. And it feels a little bit like everybody can have a say. Sorry, life is not a democracy. There are decisions to be made, make them and communicate them. The problem with what most people do is they don't dare to tell. So make bold choices and explain it. The people you have working for you really will understand. Get a good team to support. I mean, I said just now that I was the director of transformation for a while. A good team doesn't mean the people only working for you, I've noticed. It's also the people you work with, so your peers, but also your bosses. You need to have everybody on board in order to do a good transformation. And then we're just not talking just a simple, waterfall to agile transformation, but transforming the company towards the future, you really need a good team. And I've experienced firsthand what it means if you, don't get the right support from all levels. Agile principle, cut it up in small pieces. Explain what the end goal is and cut it up in small pieces. Make it really, really simple. This one is tricky though. Create safety and predictability because you don't know how the future is going to look. You just know that you want something different. So the only constant is change. And how do you create an organization like that? Well, it's not a sprint, although we do everything in sprints, it's a marathon. So you need to manage your own energy level. It's draining, getting your organization towards the way you want them to get. And every time you think you're there, you kind of exhale and then, oh shoot, something happens again. So you keep on pushing, keep on pushing, keep on pushing. And that's what I get to the last point, perseverance. I mean, we're talking a lot about transformation management in this world, but we don't talk about perseverance. It's about changing the organization, it's about explaining it in very, very, very nice pieces to the people in your teams. Getting exhausted at the end of the day, and then the next morning getting the energy back in to move people forward. That is the thing we're talking about. So, perseverance. I decided I'm going to introduce a new buzzword. I mean, I don't like transformation management or any buzzwords out there, but I think perseverance is actually something people should write about. Because how do you do that? I mean, it's not perseverance like we're all used to. I mean, a couple of years ago, I did the Walk of the World, Nijmeegse Vierdaagse in Dutch, which means that 4 days in a row you walk 40 kilometers. Yeah, sounded like a good plan at the time. Day 3, exhausted. I mean, it's hell on earth. It was like 35 degrees and it was horrible walking. Why, I don't know, but I wanted that medal because if I ever gonna meet the king, I can wear it. That was kind of the whole principle out there. Okay, day 4, exhausted, done. 16 blisters. And actually the doctor said, well, maybe you shouldn't walk the last day. I did. I walked the last day because, hey, it was only 40 kilometers to go. That's perseverance. But that's just short term. And everybody can do that short term. I mean, there's people probably running marathons, which I can't, or half a marathon. I mean, halfway through when you think you're going to give up, you're like, okay, we're almost there, we're going to push. And this is the problem with transformation management. There is no end. It keeps on transforming. So you can't think, okay, only 40 kilometers, I take 2 aspirins and then I'm there. It is continuously moving forward. So how do we do this then? I mean, another example, I mean, it's the difference between, well, let me think of something simple then. Simple change management. Dieting. I mean, I think everybody now in the end of March quit their first New Year resolution. But I mean, when we talk about change management, we change our breakfast and we stop eating the M&Ms that everybody's supplying me in the office. If you do transformation, you really change the way how you are working. I mean, the stuff you put in your refrigerator, everything you need to do is going to change. And then it's a matter about perseverance. But that sounds simple. I mean, Or at least that's what I think every time I'm thinking of getting all the healthy stuff in my refrigerator. Unfortunately, there's thuisbezorgd.nl. So, what I'm saying here, perseverance is about pursuing high goals and developing an ability to deal with setbacks and failure on the way. Because that's what we need to train ourselves to. Not only do we need to get into new working methods, but we need to train ourselves in perseverance. It is persisting and overcoming a set of obstacles, including physical barriers, criticism, and discouragement. So how do we do this? I think there's 7 ways to do this, and I hope you agree. Set goals that you care to achieve. So what do I want to do? I want to create the best company ever, in which field ever. Or I want to make sure that my employee satisfaction is above this amount. What do you want to achieve? I want to create digital products. So not just digitize the organization, but I want to create an organization that actually creates digital products. Whatever you think, set a goal. And it needs to be very uncomfortable, the goal. It needs to be very, very, very far-reached. Plan, plan, and replan. Because planning gives you comfort where you want to go. But hey, as we all know, in 2 weeks from now, the whole world changes, so we need to replan and replan and replan. Doing that actually gives you, how fast, how do you say that? So strength to actually move forward and know where you're going. Choose and commit yourself to persevere. We are going to do this. One of my favorite sentences in the office, everybody hates it by now, we do not try, we will do. Because if you try, you fail. We're going to do this, and we're going to do this all together, and we're going to push this going forward. This is something you need to commit to and really, really push yourself. Increase your skills and knowledge. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there you don't know. In order to reach a goal, and in order to keep reaching the goal and pushing yourself, you need to train yourself. Motivate yourself. That's a hard, tricky one. Because it talks about knowing yourself, what motivates you. After a tough day in the office, I go home and get a glass of wine or go to the gym or whatever is needed to, reload. Number 6 is the one I find sometimes difficult. In times of big changes, and as every company we are changing a lot, it's hard to stay positive. Because the thing is, you're solving issues the whole day. So at the end of the day, I'm more like, okay, how was the day going? I have a colleague of mine who sits next to me who sometimes want to smack his head against his Mac, because he always says to me, smile. And I'm like, yeah, but you know how much issues we have to solve. And actually, it is the case. We have issues to solve tomorrow. We have issues to solve next week. Why not make it fun? And we have some kind of gaming event tomorrow, or even Friday. Why not? I mean, we can always push ourselves going forward, but it needs to stay fun as well. Otherwise, and take care of yourself. Again, what I said earlier, this is not a sprint. I mean, this is a marathon, and we need to take care of ourselves. And it's a marathon without a finish, which is even worse. I mean, we need to push ourselves, we need to transform ourselves, and we need to transform the organizations. The good thing is you're not alone. I mean, look to the left, look to the right, everybody's doing the same. And if you can't find somebody in your organization to help you, find a new organization. Go and do your stuff somewhere else, because you need people around you to do this together. And if you've got one common goal, why not? I think all Agile organizations should in the end become DevOps. Yeah, you learn as you get older. I think change is good, and as I said here, transformation is better. Transformation is really something we need to do. And what I hope to do is to create a new buzzword called perseverance. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. We have time for some questions right now. So who wants to ask the first question?
So clear as mud. Really?
No, really? No questions? Come on, guys. No questions. Thank you very much for this inspirational talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Big round of applause. In a few minutes on this stage is Rini van Solingen. He's professor at the TU in Delft. And it's 16:45. Yes? It's here, plein air, in the stage. Thank you very much.